I want to say, just to clarify, that the lawsuit was about a Whole Foods 365 brand, and it was a personal care product that tested close to or in excess of 20 parts per million for carcinogen 1,4-dioxane. And I think perhaps the challenge of being an organization like Whole Foods that is really heralded as being one of the leaders in sustainability is people have higher expectations, which is a blessing and a curse. Rand, what are your thoughts? Because you certainly, Wal Mart has certainly also had its share of concerns from the nonprofit and consumer communities.
I think this is actually pretty simple. Everybody in this room has an obligation to enhance the transparency of our supply chain. Yep. Every one of us. And we feel like, both of us feel like it is our duty to help in that process, and you have our commitment, you have our commitment at Walmart, that we will do everything we can to enhance the transparency of the supply chain. That said, sustainability, and a caveat on that is, we at Walmart walk on the shoulders of giants. When you look at people like Yvon Chouinard and Michael, tremendous men who have done amazing things with a developing science. And because it's a developing science, and because when it comes to sustainability, we must act quickly, we will occasionally make choices that we think are right at the time and discover later that they're wrong. And so we all just kind of have to be patient when those happen. But if we're transparent, they'll happen a lot less frequently, and we'll all be able to say, I get it.
And on that note, I turn the floor over to all of you, but reserve the right to insert a question or two. Who would like to start? And are there microphones that can be passed to people in the room? The microphones are coming. We will start right up here at the front, actually, while the microphone's coming. Can you just speak up really loudly?
How do we enhance the transparency of the supply chain when most of the supply chain is completely invisible to us?
So how many of you manufacture products? How many of you sell products? All right. So we have a good number of people here who touch the supply chain and, first of all, can ask the right questions, because a lot of transparency is simply knowing what questions to ask. And then for those of you who produce, it's starting the record keeping now. It's going back and looking at all of the parts, all of the components of what you sell, as well as understanding where. Ask yourself this, and this is what we're asking ourselves. So don't get me wrong, we don't have a good answer for this today. We have some good answers, and we have some places where they're not great answers. But we've been asking ourselves, do we know where everything comes from before it gets to Walmart? And we can't answer that today. We can in some things, but we can't in everything. In fact, where there is legislation, you can assume that we can, but where there isn't, it's much harder. So first of all, we can continue lobbying and working from a government standpoint, but that's going to take a while. So in the meantime, let's start building systems to develop the transparency. We're committed to being able to do that. There's a great organization called Historic Futures that has a string tool that I'm enamored with, and I think is outstanding. We've been using it for the last 3 months to develop a new brand of jewelry. As you know, jewelry is a potentially tremendously detrimental impact, environmentally as well as socially. And if you don't have transparency to where your jewelry comes from, like the entire world today, then you can't make choices about how to purchase appropriately or how to source appropriately. So we've been working to use this tool, this software tool, to be able to have full visibility of our supply chain for a number of our jewelry products, for gold and silver to start, and eventually for diamonds and other things. And we're really excited about this new brand where customers can know that this was mined in the most responsible way that we could.
Thank you. Right here?
So price elasticity has been sort of a key to Whole Foods' success in terms of consumers' incredible willingness to pay for high quality organic and natural products. How does Whole Foods talk now about potential increased price sensitivity created by Walmart's big move into natural and organics over the next few years? And then just also to Rand, does the EDLP model apply to
So now you're really talking about business strategy rather than sustainability, although if you're not there, you're not very sustainable. So if Walmart is going to lessen the elasticity on a product, then we have to figure out how to increase that elasticity by adding another layer of importance for which people will pay a premium. There's no way in the world that we win a price battle with Walmart. I'm relatively smarter than that. My kids would argue with that on any day, but the issue for us is, what are we going to do? If we started out in a position of selling what we believe to be the highest quality product from an organic standpoint, a natural standpoint, a sustainable standpoint, and that means we have to raise the bar. And we have to continually raise the bar. Sustainability is one of the components. Again, when you talk about organic, it is not inherently sustainable. Just because you're an organic farmer or producer does not mean you're doing it sustainably. So we have to add that component. We have added, one of our major initiatives now is Whole Trade, which is a certification that comes on top of Fair Trade Rainforest Alliance. It's taking a natural product or an organic product and adding another hurdle for people. And believe me, there's a lot of screaming in the vendor community, but there are a lot of people. We have now 70 companies that are certifying their products Whole Trade. That's our only reason for being, if you will, and continuing, is if we're going to say that organic has become the standard, then I got to raise the bar. I have to increase that.
And to the follow-up question, it's my belief that, first of all, sustainability is an outstanding way to look at your world differently, to find opportunities to cut costs. What we have found is that through the lens of sustainability, we have been able to make enormous impact on simple things. You guys know about compacted detergent, but maybe you don't know about what we did to tricycles. We took tricycles out of the box, because who needs a box? We looked at the waste of a box and said, nobody takes a box home and uses it for anything. So we took it out of the box, we worked with the radial flyer folks, we bent it, it's a technology where it now folds in half, nests into a pallet, put a little sign on the front of it, and now you've got a tricycle that doesn't sit in a box, and oh, by the way, because now it's really easy to assemble, it's simply push on it and it's assembled, and it's really easy to display, sales are great on it. So first of all, sustainability is a great opportunity to deliver on EDLP, but secondly, we have to find ways to continue delivering sustainability at the best price possible. It's the only way to make this big enough to make the impact that we all need to make. And so we all have to be more creative.